Hello everyone, I'm back. I'm Denise with Spiritual Growth Tarot, and this reading is for check into the karma and the future of Rupert Murdoch. Okay, so the forces he has in motion, his challenges, 4 cards over here for the karma that he brought in for this lifetime. Okay. 2 cards up here for what he's bound to experience. So the current karma that's hanging over him. Okay, and I'll get these in frame in a moment. Let's do, let's do two cards for his personal future and 2 for his professional, 2 for his personal. Okay, so professional. That's interesting. Okay, and then his personal future. Okay. Yeah, and you know, I thought I was going to stop and do a little research on him before I started this, but I didn't. So I don't know, like, how old he is. He looks like, he looks pretty torn back, man. I would say he's, like 197, just looking at him. But I don't really know how old he is. He's up there, which doesn't mean anything except for how much time he might have left to turn his karma around. Glare on this one. Yeah, okay, good enough. All right, so what's going on in his life currently, or the forces in motion, I don't know if he's doing some... He might be connecting more with his family. I mean, the King of Cups often has to do with being generous. So he might have something going on with his family. I mean, I just did that reading on, fake pox, faux entertainment group. I'm not going to call it news because they're not. And they're not held to those standards either. But with this King of Cups, now this could be one of those situations where I've gotten it wrong and it should be reversed, because the reversed meaning would be, somebody who's been very, very manipulative and, intolerant. Now, I hear he's, global abuser. It's not just what he's done in the United States. It's Australia and everywhere, which I think he is from Australia, or the UK. The UK complains about him a lot. So if you guys know any personal information about him that you feel like contributing, feel free to post it, and of course I'll pin it. The best one. So anyway. I get the feeling this has to do with his family. I feel like he's thinking about, because this does show, if it is straight up, I mean, if it is meant to be read straight up, this does show being dependable for his family. So there's that possibility, but all this is hanging over him, and this isn't, this isn't happy. But he may be, it's possible that he's at the end of his, he's feeling that he's at the end of his days, and he's trying to, get his will together, get his trusts together, whatever he's got going on, estate planning, all that stuff, which I'm sure he's already had, but he might be figuring out how to generously, distribute it. His challenge with the Chariot card in the challenge position, this has to do with conflict and not going in the right direction and being unstable. Because it's in the challenge position. So I have to read it as if it's, reversed. If it would be meant to be read in the upright position, it would be, his willpower and his determination with his family. So that's interesting. But, I might as well just dive into these cards because they're hanging right here. This is a card of weakness. This is lack of strength, and this place where he hasn't worked on his unconscious material, so therefore he hasn't been able to, come into true inner strength. And this card can represent a divorce. It's at the very least an unhappy family. So his sons aren't happy with him, or at least one of his sons, I'm sure, isn't happy with him. I don't know if there are other children. The only thing I've ever heard of were two sons who would kind of stick together and try and bring him into alignment, because I think they own part of, the entertainment group. But just empathing and feeling into it, I feel a lot of fear. I feel a lot of vulnerability and fear. So I think he may not be doing well with his health, because that's how it works. When you're not aligned with what is loving, it's harder to get through the harder times, and your life force kind of works against you. Now that doesn't mean anything if you're going through an illness or you're having challenges yourself. It just means that as a lifelong, we always have to commit to the truth and to love, which I believe are the same. I think love and truth are the same force. And he's just been in it for the money. So in his older age, it hasn't brought him the happiness that he wants. And he might be realizing that, and he may have a deeper understanding of that. And therefore, he's trying to change it. I'm not sure. But he's definitely not going anywhere on a personal level, except to maybe try and make it right for his family. That's interesting. Okay, so the karma that he brought in relationship karma. He brought in the karma to make decisions that benefit all parties. And he brought in the karma to learn how to love himself. And to especially find clarity and truth. How ironic that he winds up owning this conglomerate of disinformation and lies full of the likes of Sean Hannity and, Jeanine Pirro and these other whacks, and what's his name? Tucker. Oh my God, Tucker Carlson. Whoa. So he has not made good decisions. His higher self intention was to make the right decisions in relationships, and he's done nothing but, probably making the wrong decisions. He also brought in the higher self-intention to, complete some kind of a cycle, but I don't think that he has, because we have the Three of Wands reversed here, and this is about, this is a big old setback. This shows that he didn't grow. So it won't be complete. There's no way it'll be complete. And I think what he's done, because of the world card here, I think he's managed to create more karma all over the world, because he's a global, manipulator with his disinformation. So that's really, wow. So this is a guy that came in with a higher self-intention to make things better, and he made it worse. No growth, and it's worldwide. So he has grown his bad karma, and I don't see that he's healed. Maybe that's what he's feeling, and he's trying to make amends with his kids, with his adult children. I don't know. But he does have the ability to do that. See, that's the thing. If there was that higher self-intention to heal relationships and to get to the truth and to find some deep love in relationship and find some harmony in relationship and some, strong bonds, he failed at that, and he may be feeling that in his, now that he's in his elderly years. So, okay. So moving forward into his professional future, well, like what? Is he going to change home? I mean, this could be like moving house. He could have some type of event. Maybe there's a new marriage or something like that. I don't know. I forgot to look and see if he's still married to Jerry Hall. But with the Queen of Cups here, again, this family. I mean, we've got the Queen and the King of Cups. And it's, usually this card to me is all about honoring what is sacred. And it's all about, being warm and nurturing and healing and loyal. And there's a lot of psychic, and intuitive powers with it. But this card, this Four of Wands, has to do with family. Again, so all this family stuff. So these aren't professional cards. These are family cards. And then here we are in the personal, column, and these are professional cards. So it's flipped. So that shows me in his past lifetimes, this is the karma he brought in, but in his past lifetimes, this tells me that he had it flipped. He came in with a lack of focus on his personal life and just all on business. And now in his later years, he's trying to flip that around, I think. But still, he's going to experience the need to just keep plodding along and maybe get something accomplished. I mean, this card, this Knight of Pentacles, is all about persistence and trying to be loyal and working hard. And I think the message here is that in his personal life, he's trying to work hard to keep control over the family. But in his professional life, he's feeling more sensitive and vulnerable. So this is confusing to me. Interesting. This is just really weird. So I think I will pause for a moment, drop the camera down so that I can use the Kipper cards because they're smaller and you can't see them clear enough unless I drop it down. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm using this little deck here by Ciro Marchetti. I gave up trying to pronounce it. I think I might be okay in French and some other words, but for some reason I can't get that one out right. Okay, so back into Rupert Murdoch, and I decided to just look at his future. Ooh, so is that in frame? Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so no, there's not a glare. There's just a lot of brightness there to remind us that we never really die. But anyway, so the theme going on is there could be an investigation. This card often brings in investigations. Well, on a personal level, he could just be like waiting, and he has his, hopes and dreams. But, there's just this, like the card says, expectation. It's not that there's something in there, that he's actually, I don't see fulfillment here. And so this waiting for something, or this investigation about something, is hanging over this card, which is, it's usually the card of sadness, of getting bad news. So this could be an investigation that brings him, bad news. I have a feeling that, that Fox News isn't the only media company that he owns. Because he's elderly, and he's been at it his whole life. So I think, and I think he is still married, because we have, the wife here. Maybe she's the one that's waiting for the sad news here, because, these two cards here, Knight up to this card. So this card is, controlling, because the top row controls these cards down here. So somebody's waiting for him to move on, into his next realm. And then these two cards here, Knight to this card. So here we are with his honor. I wouldn't really say his high honor. I mean, yeah, he's amassed a fortune, but that doesn't mean that he's, in the eyes of his higher self and his creator. No, I wouldn't say that brings in high honor. This is a reputation that is being looked at and decided for you, and it brings in sad news. And so his reputation as a communication group of some type, entertainment, media, news, whatever, because, if he owns other, I feel like he does. I feel like he owns others and other media groups and or news outlets or something like that, because, he's all over. If he's in the UK and Australia, then of course. So his honor as a communications person, is not going to be looked at well in the future, because this card's all about disappointment. It can be an illness sometimes too. It's like, the painful truth coming through lots of times. It has to do with confrontations, and this card is all about confrontations, and, it Knights over here, so there's that. This can be a card of having an outright, like crisis in your life. So I think he still is married to Jerry Hall, and she's waiting for so the dude's not happy. And that goes with the tarot reading up here with the, Ten of Cups reversed. And the other card, what was it right next to it? Oh, I forget. I totally forget now. I put the cards away so I can make room. I totally forget. But anyway, I felt like, divorce could be up there. But then again, why would she divorce him when he's that old and she's not and he's that rich, right? So here we are with she's expecting, she's waiting. I think this is Jerry Hall that is waiting for oh, I'm so sad, but he's kicked the bucket and now she gets all this money that she didn't have to work for, because this is, some type of joy and happiness. It doesn't have to be a gift, but of course I don't know, he probably had a big old prenup, but she'll have something, of course. And maybe she winds up with the house. It's so funny. It's like, I thought this is his future, but here's his future, and I think all this is about her. But then him in his honor is not, that's not going to be seen good as well. And then the change, because his change moves him into, this is a card of fatality. They named it coffin here, like in the Lenormand, but this is a card of, in the Kipper, it's usually called fatality. And the change shows what direction, and it's headed towards. So, his progress is ending. His movement leads to a coffin. And what's hanging over him before this happens, or as this happens, this is some type of, again, investigation. And it could have to do with support that he's gotten in the past. This is a card of even, the IRS or some other tax organization. This guy could be, an auditor for taxes. But again, this card's always about somebody. It's a confrontation, and somebody makes a decision on you, right? So there's a need to. Well, it could be a negotiation that happens, but what would the negotiation be about when it's something to do with sad news and things changing? And like, would this be his will? That's going to be under, like a contesting of the will between parties. Because I think he has more kids than those two sons. I just have a weird feeling that there's, because he was married 3 times, right? So it doesn't make sense to me that he would only have 2 kids. Anyway. And then because the house is here and there's this expectation and the sad news, I think his future is just about over. And I think that this is all about his family and what's going on there. Because I don't see him making it to the end unless, let's see, let's try that one on. What if this doesn't have anything to do with his health, even though he's quite elderly? And this is just about something ending. Well, that's something, but this is a painful ending, though. I mean, doesn't just mean it's just done. This is a painful ending. You don't get to the transformation until you go through the death. So there's something that is, like death for him or to him. He's going to perceive it as death. And that something is an investigation and having to, pay the price. Meanwhile, I think the other message here is this row here. Well, if it's just him that gets the sad news, it's still going to end him. It's going to cause so much stress. And then these cards here feel more well, these two cards at least feel more personal, like his wife. And maybe the news is more sad to her than him, and he feels like, oh, I don't care, I'm rich and I'm going to die anyway. He thinks he won. But then again, with those cards I got for his tarot reading, it felt like he was feeling very vulnerable and trying to come into some type of truth. So, anyway, on the physical level, it doesn't look good for him. On the spiritual level, I could tell for sure that he hasn't grown in this lifetime. So there's no reason for him to stick around. I mean, usually we stick around because we're still working at something, and we are, sometimes we get to leave early because we're graduating and we did all we could, and then other times we're still working on it. But I could tell by those tarot cards that he hadn't grown. So that's that. I don't know what else to say, other than it feels like he's just going to be checking out soon. I don't know how long soon is, 2 years, 4 years, 1 month, 2 days, I don't know. I don't really care to get into it and look. I don't think it matters. Okay, well, thanks, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.